him, you know, sink or swim. And if he does well, you know, it's a huge boon for his career. Like, if you can bounce back after that really weak LiivSAND game, go into game 2, decent Olaf, and then game 3, you prove the Trundle. Like, how will you ever be nervous on stage again? You're always going to be ready to jump back in.
Yep. I like that idea. But interested to see how the Trundle's going to go. Has found some recent success.
Yeah, he's been played a little bit more recently, especially outside of Korea.
I just feel like a lot of the reasons to pick Trundle aren't really here, right? Because we saw like Zax popping up last week and things like that, and that's when you can put a pillar down and frustrate him and that sort of stuff. And also into melee matchups as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's
you
all.
Can chomp them, deny the AD, but Rumble doesn't really care about that.
I mean, the Trundle, like when I first saw the Trundle, I thought for just a moment, is this some crazy like Trundle top lane into the Viego? But you're going to have a hard time with that one too. And they ended up keeping it in the jungle. And now you can get rooted so easily. You can get blown up by all the poke damage that comes through before you can actually get on top of anybody. You don't get that big steal like you were talking about. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this one. But time will tell how it performs. It also isn't all too amazing with the Azir in terms of kill pressure. It can work out if the pillar sets up for a really nice Emperor's Divide, but it's not as amazing as the LiivSAND would have been for kind of like guaranteed kill on the Rise if you would make that combo work.
True. Although, you know, the shuffle can really be augmented by a pillar in the way. Does mean that Fate will have to be flashing more often than not. So not too bad. Press the attack on the Trundle as well. It does give him a lot of dueling power in the early stages of the game.
And this is not something that we have seen Gen.G play in challenges or anything like that. This is not like a really cool, sick pick for this player that he's doing and nobody else is really doing kind of thing. It's not really in his wheelhouse. That's a pretty close stat.
Yeah, we've seen this matchup so many times over the years. In the LCK, feels like it's more than 41, but that's what the number is. But it's going to be Fate catching waves quite a lot in this one, especially against BDD's Azir, of all things. It's Summit fighting Rascal once again, and Viego's pretty strong, as it turns out.
Especially into LiivSAND, especially in the early parts of the lane. And that's one of those other opportunity costs I was talking about with the Trundle pick, that you've put Rascal in a very uncomfortable position. And if there's anyone who can handle those positions, it is Rascal.
Indeed.
Going to be a very frustrating early game to play.
Yeah, the Trundle now going to look to try and get some invading done. And early on, certainly something that a Trundle can do, as that's a grand entrance. Prince not quite on the same page, but Battle Dance will mean that Effort isn't punished for it.
9-2 here for Ruler on this champion. He loves to play it, and it's been a great meta for it.
Oh yeah. Well, Gen.G down towards the bottom side. Thinking about trying to force a flash, but not actually going to go in. Going to keep his position a secret, get himself the Rift Scuttler, as Croco's going to come over and do exactly the same thing.
I'm going to look to actually challenge this Rift Scuttle, it looks like, but with no mid-prio, I don't think that's realistic. They won't be able to do it.
Nope. Secured there by Gen.G, as now BDD taking a bit of damage here from Fate. Gen.G moves over a ward. Fate realizes he's not going to be able to continue fighting.
And actually look at Summit, because he has a winning lane, he's able to take the top Rift Scuttle away. So at least they're not able to get the double Scuttle here against LiivSANDBOX.
Yep. All right, Summit trying to get away here.
Summit's like, yeah, okay, you think I use my cooldowns on the Rift Scuttle, but Viego doesn't have cooldowns. Like,
All right,
actually going to push the issue.
To connect, not too bad. Stab comes back, but Summit with his teleport will just be able to get a reset here as life moves on over. Croco is just going to be able to secure this, but he's going to get stunned up. Ruler comes on around. That's a great knock-up in from Effort as he's battle dancing around. Flash out from Croco. The Flame Spitter doing so much work as life fails the flash, unfortunately. And Ruler's going to have to flash over the wall as well. Is he actually going to be safe, though, is the question. And the answer is no. Stabbed in the back by Summit.
And to add insult to injury, BDD tried to save the day by teleport flanking. Waste's teleport is nowhere to be seen. And Fate gets this rotation off for free. Yes, it's a teleport trade, but he ends up doing way more for this fight than BDD was able to do, which was 0.
Yeah.
So this is a magical advantage that LiivSANDBOX just pull out of their hats, basically, because it's like, okay, we're losing a little bit of control on the top side of the map. We did barely get the Scuttle, but we're going to look for an aggressive blue steal. And someone's actually going to catch most of this wave,
it was a cannon wave. He was absolutely fine, actually.
Yeah.
This is out on the cannon gold, but gets the experience for it.
So this is not even really a great trade-off, you know, sadly for Gen.G here. And this is a great lead now for LiivSANDBOX that just kind of Like I said, it felt like a magical, mysterious like appearance of a lead that didn't need to happen because Gen.G really thought they had prio for that fight. Like, we'll watch this once again. As you can see where BDD is.
Croco didn't even have Smite.
No.
Still manages to get the blue.
And BDD was backing, so it's just really easy here to know that you don't have to deal with this this Azir until very late in the fight. And by the time he shows up, it's like already over. Flash wasted here. Yeah. Really unfortunate. And Summit just gets massive value again.
이걸 와주네. 땡큐다 땡큐.
Thank you.
나만 사렙인데 온다고?
Super easy.
Why does Croco look so incredibly calm when he did that?
He basically said, like, they actually decided to fight over this. Like, they're actually going to lose the game over this. And it does feel like Gen.G have put themselves at a huge deficit, like I said, for not really a realistic fight they needed to take.
Yeah, that was quite unnecessary. And we joke about the Gen.G early game comp. It's not. They don't have to force fights or anything like that. So, yeah. Curious. The Merc Tread's now completed for Fate. He's going to be pretty happy in his mid lane now, up against the Azir.
Yeah, it's... Now the next question is, does Gen.G attempt to fight the Rift Herald? They have level 6 for BDD and Rascal, and BDD especially in this fight can do a ton if he hits a really big Emperor's Divide. Oh. But Equalizer is pretty good, and Croco's, I think with this Scuttle take, he should get it. Level 6 is just around the corner, you have to imagine.
Yeah, this is, it was trying to be a bait, but it's just going to be taken there. So the Rift Herald that is going to be spawning in 1 minute's time, going to have some vision on it for LiivSANDBOX. It's zero movable.
Yeah, and he did not get 6. I actually was looking ahead, looking at BDD's level 6, thinking he was closer, but he's actually just barely ahead of Youngjae.
Yep.
But if they don't start this right away, he's probably going to have it. It's realistic what I'm trying to say. He does have it now. So I don't think Gen.G should look to fight for the Scuttle, or for the Rift Herald.
Well, we'll see whether they do. Jinx, her pathing is what's going to give it away, as it looks like Ruler is just heading down towards the bottom side. Prince is already here, as Fate gets himself a blue buff, walks back to the mid lane, and we'll see how fast he can clear this one out to get them a little bit of priority over here and allow them to actually move into that river and get some control. They do have that ward.
Just doing effort things too. Rascal's sitting here going, well, I hope I can get a positive trade so we can really force the issue here. They're trying to collapse onto Prince and steal this red away.
That's going to be a knockup as Effort does find Rascal, but not enough follow-up here as Prince rotating over. He's spotted by 4 people. That's the flash. Emperor's Divide is immediately followed. And Prince is like, why are there 5 people here in my jungle?
And is he going to get away?
What the heck?
No way!
Just completely trolled. Oh no, the minion pathing, the Brambleback saves his life.
Oh my god, and he gets away. This is worst
Super Mega Death Rocket will just barely miss.
I mean, this could not be worse.
Oh, Gen.G, I'm so sorry.
This is so rough for Gen.G because now they've given up an objective for free. Yeah, Ruler gets a plate here. Looks like he's going to get a second one. Well, might not actually quite at this rotation, but we'll get the second one eventually. But you've lost the Rift Herald. You grouped up to really try to force the issue and maybe get a pick on the bottom side so you can trade some of that gold back, spread the love around for the rest of your team. But you failed to get the kill, and this is just a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a great stunt from Summit up here. Gets himself a really nice trade, but he's Viego, of course. And let's have a look at this one more time. How did they not manage to walk past that one red buff?
죽었어.
He's like, I'm dead. And then actually they just attacked the red buff instead of him.
봐줄 사람.
He's like, can anyone save me?
Yeah.
야, 아지르 풀공 쓴 거 같아 나한테.
It's like, I think he still used his flash. I don't think he used, or rather, I think he still has his flash. He didn't use it, but he did. He did
indeed. But that was very strange. It looked like they were trying to give the kill over to someone in particular, and then just didn't quite get the memo or something.
Yeah, that was quite weird.
Yeah, I don't really want to make any assumptions there, but it was very strange. And I've seen this one before. Rascal gets stunned up a little bit and then stabbed multiple times.
This time Summit actually took flash too. It was a change from last time he played this because last time he didn't have to deal with a Trundle. Rascal.
Yeah, as that's the kickback underneath the turret. Flash out as well. Croco's here. That's the equalizer down as Summit is just going to grab that kill. Desperation from the Lee Sin, unfortunately.
I really like the idea of it. He's trying to have the mechanical outplay. He knows he has his flash available. Summit's in range of the turret with no minion wave there. So the idea is really cool.
If Crocco's not there, then Summit's dead, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. But unfortunately, he was there, and that's a risk you have to take if you're going to go all in on trying to actually stop Summit. You fail, you give another kill over, you lose your flash.
Well, effort, nice little knock up here, but he's going to ult as well. Doesn't quite get stunned in time, as there's an ulti from Prince, as we're just throwing things out one after the other, as Prince will find life with a lot of damage. There it is. If you're take too much from that one, though.
If you're going to keep throwing things at each other, I think the Varus is usually going to win that exchange.
Yeah.
The stage in the game, he's got his Dirk up right now, and that's going to be a lot of extra pressure here that is going to allow this Drake prio to be basically free for LiivSANDBOX. Ruler's now got to get out of here, has to back, and now it's just really easy to rotate over. But on the contrary, Crocco wants to get another pick onto Rascal instead. They're just not trying to rush a Drake. They want to get more on the map. They want to further this snowball they have in this game.
Yeah, this should be also the turret taken by Shelly as well, most likely, as Crocco gets up here. It's no cannon, but I don't think it really matters, as the Harpoon not going to connect, but the Realm Warp's going to come in just to confirm the death on the rise. Efforts, of course, here as well. And now LiivSANDBOX with 4 members will be able to take down this outer turret. They'll sacrifice a Drake for it, but I don't think they're too worried.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not with a solo Ocean Drake here. They're going to be happy to let that one go for the value they're going to get here, because remember, in the previous patch, you'd be like, oh, whatever, second charge on this top turret here doesn't matter. But actually on this current patch, or even on the previous patch, you get so much extra gold for this that it actually ends up being huge for you. Like, this is like one of the most valuable Rift Heralds you could ever ask for. Oh, all the money.
Yeah, and the full minion wave will now head towards that turret as well, as Rascal is going to pick that one up. But Ruler does get some plate gold down here towards the bottom side, and they even out the Drakes. It's going to be an Infernal Soul this game as well, so both teams with the opportunity to stack up 3 of them. That is a lot of items now being put together as well on the side of LiivSANDBOX, who are really getting things going this stage of the game. 4.5K gold is the lead.
It's insane. I mean, all the gold that comes over with that top turret, the Rift Herald is insanely valuable. And yes, Ruler does end up getting a lot back here, but he's going to need this game to slow down a lot if he's going to hope to carry, even with the gold he's gotten here. To Gale Force this game. Yep. Going to see the fight over the scuttle.
Okay, that's why you build Gale Force, ladies and gentlemen. Ruler's going to be able to use it to get out of the way of the Chains of Corruption, holds onto his flash and his cleanse for it.
Now, like,
about that.
LiivSANDBOX have this huge item advantage, like you mentioned. They have the Night Harvester online, they have Everfrost, Sunder is up for Summit. Because there's no objective, they're just going to go, well, I'm going to take over your jungle, and if you're anywhere near us, you will die, and we're going to continue the snowball rolling. Summit still has teleport. He's been able to use that very conservatively this game, outside of that insanely massive one he used early on. Hasn't had to touch that. Can keep pushing this top wave, keep free farming, and they could just hover around this red side jungle. And if Gen.G try to group, they win that fight. So there's no objective on the map, but LiivSANDBOX are making it their business to steal everything that exists on the map away. Like, that jungle is the objective, because otherwise Youngjae is going to start find himself falling very far behind if they don't contest.
Dangerous ward, couple of teleports available for Gen.G, but LiivSANDBOX are going to back away. I'm pulling the trigger on that one, but I'm glad that Jonas Strong showed us that there was some danger there that Prince had to watch out for.
Just no part of this jungle is going to be left untouched.
Yeah, it feels like Summit is a counter jungler here as well in this game, so we're going to go back in time a bit, as Rascal no way out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he could have done here was just simply leave the lane, knowing this is a strong possibility, but you just lose either way. You need that farm, you need money. It's just a really unfortunate situation. Is this Trundle pick, we saw it, help out with that collapse onto Prince, even though they didn't get the kill. But otherwise, it leaves you wondering what could have been in this game if it was just a stronger top lane matchup where Summit isn't dominating and you have the Lee Sin in the jungle. I would have really liked to see that here for Gen.G.
Yeah, or a Viego ban.
Yeah, that
could have been cool too. But, you can't have everything. As LiivSANDBOX will be able to steal away a blue buff. They give that one over to Fate quite nicely. 2 minutes on this Infernal Drake. Next Rift Herald is available. It looks like it is going to be taken here by Summit as well in the meantime. And it's just one of these situations where the tempo is so heavily in favor of LiivSANDBOX that they're able to just take so much more than Gen.G in this game. And it is now going to be that later game win condition that Gen.G are going to have to try and fall back to and hope that LiivSANDBOX fail to effectively roll this snowball down the hill. But
yeah,
if they proved anything in game one, it's that they're very, very good at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like with the item spikes they have, they're just really taking the whole map away from Gen.G. And even though it's only like a 10 CS nearly a deficit here for Croco versus Youngjae, he just has very little of his jungle he can take. Look at the blue side jungle, it's all open. So if LiivSANDBOX ever have a moment where they can just step back, like as you can see now Croco is doing, that's when he's going to take a huge lead in the jungle camps, because all of the jungle camps were taken away from Youngjae. So his purpose in this game is somewhat questionable. Like right now he's backing because like, I don't have any camps, guess I'll buy 2 control wards because I don't have any money either.
Yeah, it's a rough time to be the Trundle. Does at least have his Mythic online, but now BDD could be in trouble. Rift Herald is going to be spawned as arrows starting to fly across as Youngjae going to get spotted. Effort dives on in, Equalizer goes down, pop goes the Azir, and the turret follows suit. It's 40 seconds until the Dragon, and BDD is going to be up 10 seconds before that. Does have the teleport available, so I guess they can potentially fight for it. But still, it's another charge to come through from Shirley, and this lead is only extending over and over again for LiivSANDBOX.
I mean, you got everything out of this that you could have ever wanted. You kill BDD, you get that mid turret. Now you can just group up for the Drake. It's up in 20 here. Now you get the reset here for Rakan. He's going to come back. And Gen.G, the one thing they do have is that they have the faster group here. Rascal does have teleport. And I think this is a Drake you do not want to give as LiivSANDBOX, who absolutely have the better team fighting comp at this stage of the game.
You are fighting for this, absolutely. Although they don't have Equalizer, I guess.
It's a little bit odd that they're just simply going to give this one away. I think this is kind of free food to take. Maybe a bit of a macro error here, I think, from LiivSANDBOX.
Maybe LiivSANDBOX's idea is we can get more out of turrets on this map. We don't really need to worry about scaling because we're planning on winning the game early, and therefore the Dragons aren't as important. But holding on to side lane pressure is, so perhaps that's what their mindset was, as Gen.G will move towards the bottom side and take this turret as well.
Now my concern is you've also given a lot of freedom to BDD here to side lane. He's going to get a ton of extra gold despite being picked. It's like ironically he's the one who dies and then actually gets the most value out of this. Then they get the Drake. And the scaling argument is the thing you can really rely on with Gen.G is the Azir late game and the Jinx late game that BDD and Ruler respectively are going to have. And giving over this Elder Drake, or rather this Infernal Drake, which is also one step closer to Soul Point, and that late game where they're going to get so much value out of an Infernal Soul if it does come to that, means that I don't really think that LiivSANDBOX should have been as comfortable giving this away and then pushing top.
I agree. I think you can understand why they thought of it. I don't think it was the right choice, because LiivSANDBOX just are so strong right now. So yeah, you're right. It's a bit curious, but just not quite able to get there. Still, Viego massively strong towards the top side of the map, building towards that Sterix next. Archangel stuff done for the Rise as well, and we're going to have a look at BDD popping one more time.
It's so perfect here because Youngjae can't really be in this part of the jungle. There's no vision. He knows that the vision has been removed for a long time, so Effort is just ready and set up for this at the perfect timing when the Herald goes down. And it all felt like a perfect ploy to just guarantee they have Drake prio. And then it was like a little bit too ahead, and then they just gave up the Drake, which is sad, but at least they get the money.
Yep. And that money is still pouring through, right? It's a 6,000 gold lead. So you can't really fault LiivSANDBOX, even if that Dragon did not need to be given away. Rise splitting on the bottom side. The 1-3-1 actually in this composition is
it's insane.
Terrifying, exactly.
Especially considering how fed the Rise is, how fed the Viego is.
Plus the line wave clear that you get as the Varus as well. You're able to clear waves before you're in trouble, so standing within the 3 is definitely pretty good here for Prince. As now, Life getting poked just a little bit, avoiding a lot of it though, as there's the Chains of Corruption that come in. It does take a lot of damage as Fate. Going to get slowed down just a little and takes a bit of damage from the turret, but otherwise going to be able to defend this one for the minute.
So much pressure here, and you know, if you watch those last moments before that turret is collapsed onto, you could see that Youngjae is pinging that he's going to take some of the minions in mid. Takes a lot of those, ends up taking the wolves here. Like, Ruler is not given as much gold, actually, as he should be given in this game, I think. Like, they should be giving him every single minion, every single wolf that they can. And Trundle's like, but I'm so far behind, and I don't have any kills. I haven't done anything this game, but I think you have to just know that your win condition is Ruler right now. It's not going to be the Trundle. Needs to be given all the money, and he is now getting some opportunities to take some of that on the map. Yep. But it's hard, too, because he also has to go over and defend that push on the bottom side, or that can be a disaster. Like, LiivSANDBOX have really pushed their advantages so hard onto that bottom of the map, the red side bottom of the map there, that Gen.G just really have to group up and can't side lane, can't give a lot of extra gold over here to Ruler, and it's just really hard. I think there's still a window where Gen.G could pull this off if they can win this next Drake fight and take Soul Point, start to get a lot of that extra gold online. Like, they are starting to get their champions up to scale. Stopwatch up for BDD now. Still only has his Ludens, but if he has a really great combo here set up, Ruler gets some damage through, starts to carry a team fight. There is a way into this game. It just feels so unlikely at this stage that they can pull it off.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And you could see LiivSANDBOX getting some pings down onto the Baron, thinking about that as their next opportunity, as Ruler going to avoid the piercing arrow by accident. And Prince is just going to go back to clearing things out.
And if Ruler dies in, his traditional spot here this game, it's hard to blame him because he just needs to be getting every single minion that's available, even if that means he's putting himself in danger. Look at the bodyguards set up here for Ruler to clear waves, okay? Like, that's the situation we're in. He's like, yes, give me more ward gold, please.
Oh, there's another Chains of Corruption. Instantly the cleanse comes through. Effort able to battle dance away, though. So they get the cleanse out and the Gale Force. That's two big tools that Ruler doesn't have, plus half of his health bar missing.
And they're just trying to make sure that he can't farm. He's able to get away with his cleanse, but now he doesn't have it for these objective fights. 30 seconds until this Drake spawns. He could even start the Baron at this stage, too. Gen.G really carefully trying to maintain that vision control over the Baron pit. You can see that is the case so far.
Yeah, some turret falls down, and the Viego just trying to get into position to try and sneak away this Drake before Gen.G can set up for it. This one should go over to LiivSANDBOX as Effort to get this rotation over. Summit doesn't get the stun. Slinks into the mist now. As Gen.G, they have the inside track on the Drake. It's up in 1 second's time. Youngjae taking a little bit of damage here, as is Summit.
Looks like they just want to realm
Are we giving out another one? Yeah, we're realm warping onto the Baron. That is going to be the plan here, as Summit doesn't quite get on the train in time, unfortunately. And this is going to go down extraordinarily quickly. Rascal is not a jungle Lee Sin. Nope. So that is Soul Point going over to Gen.G in trade for the Baron. And if it was Infernal Soul, I might be like, this is worth it for Gen.G. But because it's only Soul Point, not quite as much, as it's 8,000 gold now the lead, plus there's a Baron.
It's not worth it, but I think that this trade favors Gen.G, considering it was the only thing they could have done while getting an objective while also not team fighting. Like, I think that this choice from LiivSANDBOX is going to potentially cost them a lot in the future if Gen.G can win just one team fight or just farm up to being able to team fight. This is kind of extended the game. Now, what LiivSANDBOX needs to do to make this absolutely the better choice is to threaten some inhibitors with this. Push the 1-3-1 to its limits, which is exactly what they're setting up to do right now. And if they can get an inhibitor or two here, or at least get some inhibitor turrets down that they can threaten later with their incredible side laning, then I think I'm really going to like this. But if this Baron is basically nothing for them, then Gen.G are going to be like, oh, sick, free Soul Point here. And even if they don't get the Soul, they're like, well, if you were going to take a Soul, it's going to take you forever. And the game is going to get extended, and then our Jinx is going to come online. So yeah. I think Gen.G are very happy with how this went, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, this is LiivSANDBOX playing to their comp, though. They understand that the longevity of it isn't necessarily the highest. So they want to do the very best they can to win as quickly as possible. But it's going to have to be a little bit more proactive play than what we're seeing right now. As Rascal catches a wave up towards topside, Gen.G rotate down to try and hold on to this inner turret. A zoning equalizer to make sure that this one definitely goes down, and it most certainly will.
Yep, Summit's pushing mid really hard. Rascal's going to have to come down and, I think, deal with some of this pressure. He's actually going to go top now. They're really pushing 1-3-1 as hard as possible. But the defense has been pretty good here for Gen.G so far. Like, there was only a lot of wave clear. Yeah, there's only a minute 15. The wave clear you mentioned is really good for them, and they're not going to have to worry about their inhibitors. So at the end of the day, even with all the gold that this Baron buff is going to give over, the extra turret, it's not really going to threaten any game-ending moments. It's not going to be an inhibitor-threatening Baron, it doesn't look like here.
A little bit worried for LiivSANDBOX, though, not being able to quite get as many advantages as they really wanted to. As Gen.G will once again just be able to clear out these minions as they crash forward.
I think that if this was any other Soul, I'd be pretty happy with, maybe not Mountain, but if it was Cloud or Ocean, I'd be pretty happy with LiivSANDBOX's twice now decision to try to take Mac control instead of a Drake. But I disagree with it because it is that Infernal, and it might come back to bite them because, like you said, they're not getting that much value. Only 30 seconds left here. Can't even kill the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, well, they're going to try and collapse here onto this one. Another equalizer goes down, but Effort has to battle dance his way out. Chains of Corruption go wide, but the piercing arrow's good onto BDD. Summit not in position to try and collapse onto this at all, and they do manage to clear out yet another minion wave. We have 13 seconds on the Baron, and the base unable to be cracked. LiivSANDBOX do have an extra 3,000 gold from that Baron buff. We have almost a 10,000 gold lead. Things are working for LiivSANDBOX, but can't help but feeling apprehensive, Wolf.
Yeah,
you know?
right before that, they gave up the Drake and they decided to trade objectives. Like, that was the moment I think the pendulum hit its apex for LiivSANDBOX, and now it's swinging the other way, right? Because now Gen.G have 3 Drakes, they have 2 Infernals, they're on Soul Point. If Gen.G win this fight, they basically just win the game. They're going to have Infernal Soul, they're going to get all the extra gold from winning the team fight, which they're at a point where, yeah, only Ruler has barely a gold advantage, but their composition does team fight very well front to back.
But Fate's gold advantage, right? Like, I feel like LiivSANDBOX should be able to just straight up win any forced fight.
They
but
should.
I think they're respecting BDD's Azir and those engages that can be so pivotal.
And I think LiivSANDBOX are still ahead in this game, and they should still be able to win that fight.
It's 10,000 gold.
Yeah, but if Gen.G win this fight, like, that game could just flip at that moment, and the fact that we can even have that discussion is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
And now if they could just win so much prio in these 3 lanes by pushing, again, 1-3-1 super hard, that Gen.G can't get near the Drake, and they win the first one and start to come back in that way, that can be good, but it also means that Gen.G get a lot more time. Ruler's got his Infinity Edge online now, right before this objective.
And they can give away Drakes. You don't need to worry about that one. Just Drake number 2, not a big deal, like you were talking about. So Gen.G can continue turtling if they'd like to. Try and get to 4 items on Jinx, perhaps. He does have his Infinity Edge, though, so the Jinx does a fair bit of damage.
Yeah.
LiivSANDBOX get along over here. Summit in the area, but Effort is not here. Got 4 members of Gen.G pushing down the bottom side. Croco has the equalizer. We'll see whether he throws that one down first. The Chains of Corruption come in. That's a great grand entrance to come through from Effort as life goes golden. Might have been a little bit of a waste there as the back out was immediate from LiivSANDBOX. Good zap lands onto Prince, but the follow-up's not quite there, as now Rascal has turned up. Low health bars sort of everywhere as that is Prince getting hit by the Q. He has to immediately vacate the area as now Ruler's going to get dove on by Summit, who has to Heartbreaker his way out. Croco, half the cooldown of this equalizer is now there is Prince! Just kills Ruler in the darkness of the brush!
Just gets lucky, and sometimes that's how it works.
Yeah, that's going to be enough as he lands another piercing arrow. The kick comes through, and Rascal will be able to take down the Varus, but not before he's done all that he needs to. Summit's going to get all of the resets that he wants. A nice 3-man ultimate from BDD, but he goes straight to the death chamber afterwards, and Rascal is the last man standing. This Drake will be claimed by LiivSANDBOX, and the Baron's up in 17 seconds.
Yeah, the Baron's going to be theirs too. I don't think you go for the steal here as Rascal. He's not even going to try it. They take it out here. LiivSANDBOX pushing forward, and that will be the double objective. But that's the fact that that team fight was so close is already kind of speaking volumes to Gen.G's ability to really almost be online. Excuse me, almost be online here. And it's really just one Varus arrow that leads to all this, because this combo doesn't work out the way they want it to. The Chains of Corruption, you know, not connecting there. The equalizer damage is decent onto... Oh, hold that thought. They're going to look for this.
Yeah,
Rascal.
That's going to be Effort taken down. It should be the Baron, secured by LiivSANDBOX. As Rascal, trying to be the hero, lands on top of Fate, but he has his Zhonya's. And that means that the Lee Sin's unable to lock him down, but Rascal was almost the hero there.
That would have been insane. He had stopwatch, I believe, going into that too, so that's part of why he goes for this.
Does damage, man.
Yeah, he really does. I guess we're going to see exactly... Nope, we're going to go back to this. But this is just so insane. Ruler goes very low at this moment, and then Prince is like, all right, maybe I have the perfect shot. Oh my god.
Man.
And Ruler, you could see he was actually trying to strafe it.
Yep. He knew that it was coming, and this double as well really did help things. Rascal being able to lock him down, but he'd done his job.
Yeah. BDD just trying his best to delay here because he knows that the Baron is coming, and at least he can buy some time. Rascal and Ruler here trying to help this out.
Yep.
He comes in here, does use his stopwatch early. He's just hoping maybe he can steal this away and grab another kill. Fate has his Zhonya's available, so he's able to survive there. But, you know, Gen.G, once again, extending the game, right? And that's the biggest condition that they're looking for here. If they can survive this push, there's a real chance.
Yep, and, oh, okay, Azir is extremely dead, and so is the Trundle. Summit's going to dive in underneath this one. Ruler is looked at by someone, and he's dead. The Viego's going to pick that one up. Here are the resets, and the game is just all of a sudden over, ladies and gentlemen. Gen.G, it was so strange because they held on for so long without even getting a kill whilst being 10,000 gold behind. But now it is well and truly too much.
It's definitely too much. They're going to go down here. Life trying his best to buy time. Not going to be successful, I'm afraid.
Nope, they pile in on top. Croco just being an absolute beast and is going to help take this one down. The Nexus is also going to fall as LiivSANDBOX will upset our first place team in the LCK, promote